I had a Vesatoskala jersey.
Do you still have it?
Jersey.
Mm.
No, I gave it in university. I gave it to a guy who now lives in Dubai.
Okay.
I was like, here, take this. Just take it. I also have a Jonathan Bernier jersey that I
Wow.
believe I gave to my sister. Yeah,
Use
I have some
some
bad
real
ones.
goalie jerseys.
Some
Okay.
really bad ones.
Yeah, maybe stay away from a Stolarz jersey. Okay.
Yeah,
We don't need this.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done jersey buying, especially after
Oh
the
yeah.
prices of the new ones. Like,
Yeah, we talked
I'm
about that a
done
couple
jersey
weeks ago.
buying.
Yeah.
On today's Good Buds episode, we talk beating the Boston Bruins.
Yay.
Yay. The power play has come back to life. Lane Lambert's gorgeous hair. The Matthew Knies impending contract. This is Egregious, numbers game, and news around the league. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 41 of the Good Buds podcast, a show about the Toronto Maple Leafs, not weed, but weed is tight. My name is Joey Belfiore. I'm here with Andrew Bascom. Andrew, the Leafs have beaten the Boston Bruins in the regular
Yeah.
season, which
It's
is
been a
nice.
while since we've been able
It
to
feels
say
good.
that. 2 years.
2 years to the day. November 5th,
Wow.
2022 was the last time the Leafs beat Boston in the regular season. Obviously played them in the playoffs and lost that series, but that's for another show. So, yeah, it feels good. I don't know. Something about playing with Austin
yeah.
Matthews out of the lineup has the Leafs playing well. They seem to play more cohesively. I don't understand it. I don't know why. I don't know why they can't just always play that great
Yeah.
when he's back in the lineup. Do you have an
No,
answer?
obviously
'Cause I
Austin
don't have an
Matthews is
answer.
overrated, and we need to get rid of him because he's the thing holding us back. Is the thing you'd expect to see somebody write, or some like extreme hot take artist, or some rage farmer on the internet trying to post something about? But you don't see that even because I think everyone is pretty understanding. He's a very good player, but it is amazing that they do play as well as they do without him because Austin Matthews is such a talent, but we just saw this recently with Edmonton too. They played okay without McDavid for a couple of games, and I think there is just this. I think we make hockey very finite. It's like a math equation. These good players means we're a better team, when really it's like we know that good player's not in, and we all play maybe different or harder. I don't know which one it is, but clearly it's something. Especially Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner seems to play. Like, I don't know, like he's wearing the C, like it's his team. I don't know what it is. It's very different.
It's Paul Marner telling
Your time
him,
to shine, baby.
Austin's out of the lineup. This
Yeah.
is your time.
Yeah.
It's your time. It's your time, kid. It's just one of those weird things. Weird stat. Weird
Yeah.
thing that happens when Austin's out of the lineup. They play well. They win 4-0 against Boston. A lot of really
Yes.
great things to take away from this win. I think the most glaring and obvious is the power play got on the board, and the power play got on the board a few times. Holy shit, man. It happened. They got 3 power play goals. Isn't it crazy that when you throw pucks on net and create traffic in front,
I know.
puck can go
It
in?
was such a relief when the first goal was the power play goal, and you're like, oh my God, here we go. Let's go. And all 3 goals that were scored on a goalie were on the power play, which is just such a relief. Like, this game, this 4-0 shutout game, is the opposite of almost every game we've played up until this point. And it's against the Boston Bruins, who, granted, are not having the best season in the world, but they're still the Boston Bruins. And to the penalty kill to be this strong, Stolarz play that well, and the power play to get going. Oh, what a relief.
yeah, it just seemed like, and it's just so simple to say, like, because you've heard them say this over and over and over. It's like, just be more direct, attack the net. That's what they were doing. Less passing on the perimeter, and holy shit, Morgan Riley shot the puck.
2 good results. Like, not even that. You're just like, oh, actually, that looked really good. We should do more of this.
Yeah, which is great, and obviously, on the other side of special teams,
Yeah.
the penalty kill was perfect. Boston was 0 for 6.
So many
goddamn
penalties.
penalties in this game. 13
Beautiful game.
combined penalties. These are 2 of the
Yeah.
most penalized teams in the league. And it's just one of those things where it's like, this trend needs to stop, because this is going to bite us in the ass. As great as our penalty kill has been recently, you can't keep taking this many penalties in a game. And I understand with Boston, there's that extra juice. There's that obviously it's a rivalry.
Yeah.
Obviously these teams don't like each other. So refs are going to come into that being like, we're going to see some shit. Maybe we're just going to call everything. But at the same time, you can't take 6 penalties in a game. You can't take 7 penalties in a game. It's insane.
There's so many reasons why this sucks. Like, it sucks to watch. It's not fun to watch when there's this many penalties. And on top of it, like, I struggle with sometimes going like, we're going to play a gritty game. We're going to play a tough game. We're going to be in the corners. We're going to be blah, 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 blah. That I totally understand in theory. And then you watch it in practice and you get 6 penalties in a game. You're like, well, this can't. Something's got to change here. And I don't think it's that all of a sudden the Leafs are going to be best friends with the refs and, we just get, a huge leash and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's a possibility. So if that's true, I don't know what has to change, but hopefully it's the refs because that's just too many goddamn penalties. It's a lot.
And it's just Boston has a very good, traditionally they have a very good power play. Obviously they have a lot of, they've got David Pastrnak, who's incredibly dangerous on the power play. So I'm shocked that they didn't get one. Perhaps because Anthony Stolarz' side to side movement is
unbelievable,
elite,
unbelievable. And in that first period too, when he went down, he started grabbing his knee, and you're like, like here we go, because the thing that everyone had always said about Anthony Stolarz is that like he's great, but he does get hurt a lot, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, keep that in mind. And when he went down, you're like, oh crap, like this is bad, and then he just got up and played amazing. Like he is also gigantic. He feels gigantic in the net. Like he feels like he's so big moving side to side. So yeah, he played great. And I know we could talk about the lack of goalie controversy, but we talked about this a couple episodes ago. I just don't know how it's Stolarz's net to lose. Like he's the one. He's playing so well.
He's one. I think just going forward, obviously we have a couple back-to-backs like on the horizon. Like this weekend, you've got a Friday, Saturday. I believe next weekend is a Friday, Saturday as well. So you're going to split those. But it's a pretty, glaring indication of where Berube's at when you got a Tuesday night against the Boston Bruins, who you're going with. I understand it's insanely early in the year, but like these types of matchups that's where you put your best Tendy in the net. And it's Anthony, it's Tony, it's Stoli, it's nicknames galore. I don't see how you go away from him going forward unless something completely changes.
Long season, but
like Joel obviously has all the ability in the world, and we understand that he's got durability issues. But goaltending is riding the hot hand. It always is, and in the NHL, it's what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me last night league? So you go with Anthony as long as you can go with Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. We can get into some games that we missed since the last time we recorded, but that St. Louis game I think is kind of the highlight or low light, depending on how you see it, of what to talk about, because that's the second time that we've lost to St. Louis Blues this season. And it's not to say that St. Louis isn't a good team or anything like that. They are totally fine. But it's this not stepping up for Berube's old team. Wall gets the start because it's his hometown. And
do you like that?
Whatever. I don't know. It's 82 games. That's for sure. Yeah. I don't. It's also it's not a market that Toronto plays in a ton. So I guess there's a part of that where it's like, oh, it'd be nice. He's healthy. Let's get him in. I think, if it was like, well, I'm from Montreal, so I get every Montreal start. You're like, okay, all right. So, I think it's just a little more frustrating that, like, again, we come out flat against that when we have all the reasons in the world to play well against them. And I know these aren't real things. These are made up, storylines that you like to create, but nonetheless, it's a little disconcerting.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, it's probably going to take Joel a little bit to find his rhythm. And it's just a benefit that Stolarz is playing the way he is, while Joe can take some time. Totally.
This is a big luxury we have, that we have a goaltender playing so well that we can spot start him with while just getting back up to game shape, it looks like, or game speed. But the St. Louis loss and that Minnesota overtime loss are smoothed over a lot by a Toronto, shutout over Boston, which is the one you'd want anyway. But wait, does that guttural noise about Minnesota? What are your feelings on that?
Well, I don't know. Like when you get scored on in overtime, like what do you feel? Like I get hot in the back of my neck. My head, like my hands just get on my face. And then I just want to go to bed. Like it pisses me off so much when we lose in overtime, especially with like kind of like a boneheaded play like that where you're like, oh, we're about to have a 3-on-1. No, it's a
Yeah,
2-on-0
I
the
know.
other way in the span of 2 seconds, and you knew that was
I
going
know.
in.
You just knew. You knew it was going in.
Yeah. Do you like those Minnesota jerseys?
The North Star
green and
jerseys,
yellow
I
North Star
do.
kinda?
I think they're pretty
I love
pretty
them.
nice. It makes you wonder. Like the Minnesota Wild jersey in general is a totally fine jersey. It's not one of those ones where you're like, ugh, we need to get rid of that. We really need to talk about that. But when your alternate is so much nicer, you really do need to have a conversation with yourself a little bit. Because Dallas has gone so far away from the North Star jersey too. It's not like, oh, you're stepping on, whatever our jersey template or anything like that, which is not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like them. I think they're nice. It's the weirdest like highlighter combo.
Yeah, green
that
and gold.
works.
Yeah, it's nice.
Like those are some like
Yes.
highlighty colors,
Yeah, the
but
two
they
most
go
popular
well
highlighters.
together. Just keeping it
Sure.
in net for a second. A lot of people are talking about this is the safest we've felt in between
Oh.
the pipes. Like Anthony Stolarz is bringing like the most security that they felt in a long time. And I guess my question to you is, when is the last time you have not worried about a Leafs goal?
God, why? Wow, Cujo went to my head really fast. It's got to be sometime after that, right? There's got to be some goalie that was better after that. But man,
It's Ed
Belfort
Belfour for
Sorry,
me, who was
Belfort.
after
Yeah,
Cujo.
Belfort had.
So, but that's
Yeah,
20
that's
years
true.
ago. That's
Yeah,
2004.
yeah. Belfort set records and stuff with that team. So yeah, no, it's got to be Ed Belfort. But yeah, oh my God, that is a long time. Holy.
Yeah, because Belfour took us into the lockout,
Yeah.
and then you had the
Yeah.
Andrew Raycroft
Yeah, that
trade
great
after
trade.
that, and it's just been an insane, uncertain, anxiety-filled decline.
Yeah.
Since then, and you've had moments like that year that James Reimer like came into the league, and he
Yeah.
kind of took us on that run that
Yeah.
almost got us to the playoffs, but didn't. And then the year after that, with him starting and taking us to our first playoff appearance in a while, and like the lockout shortened season, those were like moments. But like it's so funny, like we're so starved for just like
Yeah.
a true number one that like everyone, the
Yeah,
Optimus
yeah,
Rhyme
yeah.
culture that like
Yeah, Rhyme
everyone
Minister,
got
yeah.
behind. The
Yeah.
Rhyme Minister of Defense. What was that?
Yeah,
was,
that's
Joe
yeah.
Bowen,
That
right?
sounds like Joe Bowen. It's a little sloppy, but catchy. Yeah, we do. But it's just something I talk about all the time with like Toronto sports culture in general. Is that we fetishize the hardworking guy. You know what I mean? Like the blue collar. Not the most talented player in the world, but the one that like seems like he's trying the hardest. That's why we loved Darcy Tucker. If you go to baseball, we loved Kevin Pillar, even though he was a terrible baseball player. And even defensively, we're like, oh, he's the best. You're like, not really. He's late a lot. That's why he has to make dives. Basketball is Junkyard Dog and Jerome Williams and stuff like that. Like we do this constantly, and it's so funny that like it is perfect that we would get the starting goaltender that is not the number one pedigree. He was the top 10 pick of his draft. He was the whatever. It's Anthony Stolarz, who has never really been a starter in his whole life, and he's now in his 30s. And it's like, I feel good about this guy. This is our guy.
Yeah, I think like the last time you felt like, because again, this is a very small stretch. Like
Yes.
it's November 7th today, so the last time I felt this way, this early, I guess, was that one Freddie Anderson year where he had the really really good October, November, and then just kind of fell off after that. Everyone was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's gonna
yeah.
win the Vezina, and it's like mid-November. But yeah, you just hope it keeps going, and you hope this is real, because right now it seems real, but it's too small of a sample size.
Oh,
to say
absolutely.
it's actually
But nonetheless, that feeling is still true, where you do not have the major worry right now. It's not like, oh crap, it's not, Vesitoskala, it's not, it's not the, oh crap,
I had a Vesitoskala jersey.
do you still have it?
Vesitoskala jersey. No, I gave it in university. I gave it to a guy who now lives in Dubai.
Okay.
I was like, here, take this. Just take it. I also have a Jonathan Bernier
Wow.
jersey that I believe I gave to my sister. Yeah,
Some,
I have some
some
bad
real
ones.
goalie jerseys. Okay.
really bad ones.
Yeah, maybe stay away from a Stolarz jersey, okay?
Yeah.
We don't need this.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done jersey buying, especially after
Oh,
the
yeah.
prices of the new ones. Like,
Yeah, we talked
I'm
about that a
done
couple
jersey
weeks ago,
buying.
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Austin Matthews is injured.
Yeah, this is a big deal. They're saying it's upper body and
awesome.
day to day. What the hell that means, I don't know. Hockey culture and injury stuff sucks. So we have no idea what happened, really. All the internet sleuths have been trying to watch for a specific play. Nothing is really popping out, or there's no consensus on what happened. And it was also, this acknowledgement was a pretty late into the day going into the Boston game. So it wasn't like coming out of the Minnesota game, oh, Austin Matthews is hurt. It feels like a practice thing. So like no matter how well they played without him against Boston, obviously missing one of the best players in the world is always going to suck.
Yeah, Berube said at some point he's been fighting it for a while. He used that terminology. So, like, you're like, okay, he's been playing with this for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because Austin Matthews has not looked like Austin Matthews this year. And there's reasons for that. I don't know. Like, obviously his point production is way down, but let's just be real for a second. Like, last year was insane, and we're not going to see that. Like, when people were jumping on the watch for 70 to start this year, it's like you're setting us up for disappointment here because this shit doesn't happen. Like, you don't score 69 goals. It hadn't happened in fucking 30 years. So, I think there's, he was getting more time on the penalty kill, so that means his ice time is going to be down on 5-on-5 moments. So there are things that you can point to as to why his point production is down, but at the same time, he hadn't looked like himself. It seemed like he wasn't shooting as much. He's passing more, and it just didn't seem Austin-y. So I don't know if that attributes to the injury. It kind of makes sense. But obviously I'm Dr. Googling myself right now.
Dr. Googling yourself. Okay. I agree with you. And it's like, just shut him down then for as long as it needs to take for him to get healthy. Because the regular season, it matters, and we want to win the division. And, and especially this year with the division being so weak, except for Florida, that you're like, oh, this is the year we can win the division. But really, it doesn't matter without it.
Is it weak? I don't know. Tampa's still really good. Like, Tampa's still
that's
really
true.
good.
But I guess it's true of like any other year where there are two good teams. In the past, there's been three. And us, excuse me.
And us.
Plus
two good
us,
teams
I'm saying
us.
in addition to. There's 2 to 3 good teams. Now there's seemingly 2, and the rest are bad. I don't even know if, like, it's not even like, oh, Detroit might make a, Montreal might make a, whatever. And it's like, nah, they suck. So there is a chance you can win the division. That's all I'm trying to say. And we've talked about in the past about how the division is really important and you want to do that, but it doesn't really matter if you're doing it with an injured Austin Matthews. You got to get him healthy. So this injury should take as long as it takes, and you should not rush him back because, as much as he is necessary, it's more necessary in the playoffs, as we've found out year after year after year.
Yeah, like he missed practice today, Thursday, while we're recording this, and we've got a back-to-back tomorrow and Saturday, so I'm going to report it.
Yeah.
Matthews is out tomorrow. There's no way they're bringing him back on a back-to-back. Like,
yep.
He's out. He's out.
No, this just in. Oh,
Jonas?
Okay, there we
go. So, he's not going to play, I don't think, tomorrow. You're not going to bring him back in a back-to-back situation, so he might come back in on Saturday. But we'll see. I have no idea how serious this is, and I guess we just have to kind of wait and see. Something we don't have to wait on anymore.
Oh,
Timothy Liljegren.
Our long national nightmare is over. Timothy Liljegren, or his new pronunciation of his name, which I don't really get, but whatever.
Liljegren? Hey. Well, it was always Liljegren. Like, some people just said Liljegren, but it was always Liljegren. And now he wants Liljegren.
Hey, it's your name, and you're obviously starting fresh. So you're introducing yourself to a lot of people, so maybe just, it's a good time to do it. Maybe try out Bangs. Who knows? So he has been traded to San Jose. And this, of course, it's San Jose, though. There's a part of me that went like, yeah, right, that makes a lot of sense. Because supposedly this conversation has been going on for weeks, if not from the beginning of the season, that there was a trade in place for Liljegren to San Jose, and the parameters of it was set. And I think it was just that San Jose just said, let us know if you can't find anything else, we'll take this. And it looks like they tried to get other things, and that eventually pulled the trigger when the Caps got too tight with San Jose.
Yeah, it makes sense that they held him out now if they had this trade in place, because you're like, okay, don't get injured, because then this throws this trade in the water, and we're kind of fucked cap-wise. So it's a cap dump, and we got back more than I thought we'd get back. I don't know if Matt Benning's ever going to play for the Leafs, but I mean, he's an everyday NHLer. He has been in his career, and if they flip him, they flip him. Obviously, there's more things they need to do. Brad's got to make some moves with Dewar coming back soon, with Hakanpää hopefully coming back soon. Yarncroc is probably coming back soon. I don't know. Obviously, the Leafs are always very, very quiet.
Yeah, that's the weirdest one, because he's not even, like, supposedly he's not even been in the facility. Like, it's not, whereas we've seen Dewar and Hakanpää, at least, you know, in the workout room, and you hear all these stories about, like, no, they're around, you know. Yeah.
They're on the ice.
Now they're on the ice. Now they're in the A, and we're going to talk about them in a second coming up here. But, you know, like, that was always like, well, they're coming close. We'll see what happens. And I think also, I think it's pretty clear that they're like, don't rush. Like, you know, like, we got to figure out some cap stuff. So, like, dude, you're not in any hurry to come back here. Whereas, Yarncroc, I don't know. And also, I know that's a conversation for a future episode. Where does he go? Like, I don't know. There's some stuff in there that I'm like, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't have that job. I thank you. I don't have that job. Because I don't.
Yeah, it's like, you're playing poker and you got a lot of tens and jacks. You're like, I really need a high card here. It's shuffling your bottom deck. I will say, you know, just with Matthews out and with shuffling some players around, that top line looks really good with Domi on it, and Domi seems to be the most confounding player to me. Where whenever he plays on the third line, I kind of shrug and I go, okay, he doesn't look that good. I don't know. He doesn't have chemistry with his line mates. He takes a penalty, and you're like, that sucks. But then you put him with good players, which I know what I'm saying. But he all of a sudden looks like he's part of that line. And I don't know what that means for him, because the chances of him cracking the top two are very low, I would say. But man, he looks good on the top line.
Yeah, and he looked really great last year when they paired him with Austin. Like, he takes those opportunities and I think runs with them. I don't know why. And then when you you're right. When you put him in like a third line situation, he's a little underwhelming.
I don't.
Maybe it's just the players. You know, he's a wonderful passer, and when you can make passes to players who can finish, it puts yourself. In a better situation.
I know what the end line here is. Play with better players, and you're going to play better. Yeah, like, I think that's true of all of us. But, you know, at the end of the day, you hope that his talent would be carried across. So I don't know. One side discouraging, very very encouraging. That, again, to see him play well on a top line is encouraging. So I only say that because as we're going to be shuffling out lines again here with Dewar coming back, Hakanpää, and whatever, Yarncroc eventually, that it does create a little bit of question marks of where you're going to place these guys, because they do seem to be playing better with different players and in different situations. So you know, because the Dewar thing, which once again I'll talk about in a second here, but is that, you know, I can't wait for him to come back, because Pontus Holmberg, my heart goes out to him as much as I feel bad for the guy, because he's just in a situation he should not be in. That is not the role he is meant to be in right now, and yet he is forced kind of to do it, and it's pretty obvious this is just not working.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it now. Let's talk about it now. You want to talk about Connor Dewar? We'll do God of the Week. All right, we'll do
God of the Week.
Obviously, we're looked upon as, kind of gods here, to be honest.
So, if you haven't listened, new segment we're doing this year, because we get treated like gods here. Doesn't have to be a player.
Could be anything.
Could be anyone. Anyone associated with anything. It could be this wonderful Stanley Cup playoffs, Maple Leafs Cup that I drink.
You think that would make you like?
Right,
you think this would like be a bad memory? Actually, it's a great cup. Not the cup we wanted, but nonetheless. Yeah. Connor Dewar is my God of the Week, and that's weird. He's not even on the Leafs yet. No, he is not. But man, two things. It feels like exactly the player that we kind of need right now, because that fourth line has slowed down tremendously, and as much as we always love to romanticize the fourth line, it is not really giving us what we want. And I love Lorentz, and I love most of that line, but it's not really doing what we want. And really, that third line is in a lot of trouble right now. They seem to refuse to play David Kampf there. Whatever, that's their own decisions. And Pontus Holmberg is struggling mightily. And up until the Boston game, her penalty kill wasn't playing well. Well, that sounds exactly what like Connor Dewar does. And now he is healthy, and he's on the Marlies right now. And holy hell, if you ever want another example of like players that are playing in the AHL and then NHL players, and he is an NHL player playing in the AHL, because he just looks so good. He's scoring goals at like a huge rate. He's killing penalties, breakaways. He just looks so much faster. And it just is a nice reminder that you're like, oh, right, that's the kind of player we should have. And so even though he's only playing in the A right now, and that's not a shot at the A at all, he's my God of the Week, because not only is he playing great for the Marlies, he's exactly the kind of player that the Leafs need right now, and I'm so excited to have him back up.
Yeah, he is a
Yeah.
perfect fourth line player. He is like Steven Lorentz
Yes.
in so
I
many
can't wait to
ways.
see them play together. Probably.
Yeah, that is the fourth line I want to see. Is those two with, I guess, David Kampf, or
I
I don't know if David
I
Kampf
don't
can be on
know.
the team. We need to move some cap, and that's a contract that I would like to move. But those two on the fourth line is
If
something
we
I'm
had an
looking forward
office,
to.
we would just have a whiteboard being Liljegren watch, and we would have just erased it and now write David Camp watch on the same spot and just been like, well, that's the next guy that we
Yeah.
got to like count down the seconds on.
Yeah, my god of the week is Lane Lambert
Oh.
and his hair. Because first of
Yeah.
all, his
Incredible.
hair is incredible.
Incredible.
Like if I had that hair, I would never wear a
Yeah.
hat in my life. That is
Yeah, it's two guys
perfect
wearing hats
hair.
right now. Yeah, I think he just one day combed his hair like that, and a suit just formed on his body, like beautifully. Like I think that's you just have to wear those two together.
Yeah.
It's real. If you have never seen Lane Lambert, by the way, it's think like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, just like 20 years in the future.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good. Yeah, I like that. It's perfectly combed back, and there's got to be a shit ton of
Yes.
hairspray in that
It's a
thing because
helmet,
it does
yeah.
not move. It's probably hard
like a
as a
Lego piece.
rock. Yeah, but it looks great. And every time I'm watching a game and they show him, I turn to my wife and I say, "Fuck, I hope I had that hair when I'm that old." And she's
Yeah.
like, "That hair?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Heads up.
it's nice." But also, Lane Lambert is bringing some serious numbers to the penalty kill. The opposing team's power play in the last 4 games is a combined 0
Wow.
for 16.
Look at that.
We have not let up a power play goal since we played the Winnipeg Jets
Yeah.
and Kyle Connor got 2. So they have hunkered down. They have started to play some real great special teams hockey on that side. Hopefully the power play is
Yeah,
coming
we'll see.
on the other side. We'll see. I'm not taking one game as anything more than just like a
Yeah.
woohoo, let's keep it going. But 0 for 16. That's a really great stretch. It's been a long time since we've let up a power play goal, and it looks like they're starting to click, and adding guys like Connor Dewar is only going to help that stuff. So, yeah, Lane Lambert and your gorgeous hair,
Absolutely.
you're my god of the week.
And I love the way he watches the penalty kill, just standing on the bench. Like he finds a spot on the bench and he stands there, just like 2 feet above everybody else. You just see his head, and the wide shots are hilarious because you can see players and then just him, his chest, and it's phenomenal. So yeah, it's going really well, and his hair is amazing. That's undoubtable.
Yeah, he's like a pure hockey dad when the penalty kill is on the ice. Like, just
Yeah.
losing it, like, really jittery, and yeah, it's fun to watch. Let's talk about Matthew
Oh.
Knies and the
Yeah.
contract that is hopefully coming. So, obviously, I think Matthew Knies is going to be a Leaf for a long time. I think they're not going to be stupid with
Yes.
this, and they're going to sign him. And the question is just, what's the number and what's the term? I think, though, that Matthew Knies is in zero rush. Like, I would not be surprised if this doesn't get done until after the season, solely because he's like, I'm going to spend the entire year on the top line. My numbers are going to be great playing with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. I'm going to get more money as long as my points just keep skyrocketing. He's playing at an unreal rate right now. He's putting pucks in the net like we've obviously never seen. He has never done in his career at the NHL level, in his very young NHL career. And he's going to cash in. It's going to be a big number. And I think from the Leafs side of things, you're hoping that, you can lock him in for 8 years and get the number down. But I don't know, like, we're talking about this in March, and he's put up close to 30 goals and 60 points. You're like, how do you not give him 8 years north of, I don't know, between 5 and 6? Like, what's the
Well, it
number
has
you're
to be
looking at?
something like that. We just saw Alex Lafreniere sign for 7 times 7.45. Now, Lafreniere was the number 1 pick in the draft, and he does something a little different than what Matthew Knies does. But it entered a range where you went, oh, okay. Like, it's never going to be the 9-10. Well, I shouldn't say never. But, if he scores 47 goals or something like that, or I think I'd be like, oh, shit. But it has to be, you have to be able to pay into the future a little bit through this cap period that we have right now, through the term of most of our contracts, to hold somebody that's young through that afterwards. And, we are getting a little bit of cap relief at the end of the year, we know, with Tavares. one way or another, and whatever happens with Mitch Marner. So, there is, and the cap's going up on top of it. So as much as we have had this PTSD over holding so many large contracts at once, or all this term all at once, I don't think this is in the same, ballpark with Matthew Knies, considering since the day he got here, he is only impressed. And I think the more that you get of him, the more we should be happy with that. So I know there's always dread around contract talk, but it would feel really good to sign a contract to make sure he's a Toronto Maple Leaf for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and the reports from his side of things is that you're hearing that he's looking at a 4-year bridge deal, which I totally understand why he would rather that, because, he gets that number that's pretty nice now, and then he only continues to produce, and that number gets a lot higher in 4 years. So I get that from his side of things. I just hope, I don't care what really the number is. I don't. He's a really great player. He's super young. This is a guy I think you need to extend for as long as you can. And if 4 years is the max term, sure, great. I don't really care what the number looks like, because it's not going to be crazy, but you need Matthew Knies.
Absolutely. James Myrtle dropped something on the Leaf Report the other day where he was saying that Matthew Knies is one of the heaviest players in the NHL right now. And I was like, the fuck? He is? Yeah, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then you look at him and you're like, well, he is monstrous. Like, he is so big, it's unbelievable. And he's young and he's only getting bigger. Yeah. Like, supposedly he put up to almost 20 pounds on him in the offseason, or whatever, in the last couple months. And that's just him doing natural young guy growing. Like, young guy, if you're just in the gym putting on weight, like, and it's not like it's his gut, so it's his shoulders and his thighs and stuff. So we are not seeing the finished form Matthew Knies, and so you hopefully sign him now, so that when you see the finished form, you're like, oh my god, it's Cam Neely, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. Nice. We'll see when it happens, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I would agree with you. I think it'll be later.
I don't think it doesn't seem like it's mid-season signings are something that this organization does happily. They do it because they have to sometimes. So I don't think they're like, hey, let's get this done. Let's do this now. Yeah.
We'll see how the next few months unfold. And in the meantime, let's do This Is Egregious.
This is egregious.
This is egregious!
Yes.
This is egregious!
As we all know, Leaf Nation is no stranger to exaggeration or overreaction. We all do it. We're Leaf fans. This segment is to highlight how egregious Leafs fans, media, players, whatever, can get, and why it's insane. So, the Curtis from Alberta situation.
Yes.
So Curtis from Alberta is a super Leafs fan who has memorabilia and Leafs shit crazier than anyone in the world in his awesome basement in Alberta. And he always makes videos of basically him watching the game or watching the end of the game if they win, and then chugs a beer. And he has his another beer slogan. It's really funny. Like, he's just he's a bundle of just joy. And he puts a smile on your face. And now he has partnered with an Alberta brewery to get his Curtis from Alberta another beer slogan on their can. And Molson, who sponsors the Leafs, sent him a cease and desist. And he can no longer make videos with Leafs logos, which is impossible in his basement. If he wants to drink anything other than Molson products. I understand the legality of the situation, that, this is a brand that pays
a lot of money.
The Leafs are, they pay a lot of money to be the brand of the Maple Leafs. However, it's just so stupid, because this is just a guy in his basement making 10-second videos that just put smiles on people's faces. It's cringy to me that Molson has done this. Yeah. It's just super cringy.
I agree with you. It's hard not to, I hate to both sides of this, but I get it. I've seen his videos. They are very, the logo is everywhere. And even to the point that even in the intro, the logo is prominently faced. And then if he's advertising another beer, it's okay, I do get this. It just kind of is this no fun world we live in currently, where a guy can't drink a beer after the Leafs game. Okay, I guess, I would only say that if Molson, if you really wanted some good PR, you'd say, what is your deal with this Alberta company? We will match it and just drink Molson, okay? Like, just and then we get through this together, and then I don't have to be an asshole and you don't have to be an asshole. I will say there's an update that Budweiser has now been used, like, they supposedly supported this guy and said, did with a new promotion. I have no idea what that means or if they're giving him money or whatever, but yeah, just not a good look. How about that? Not a good look, Molson.
Yeah, like, if I wasn't incredibly hungover right now, I would crack a non-Molson beer while wearing this hat.
Come at me.
On
Yeah.
camera. But I'm incredibly hungover, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, just one of those things that, like, those videos just bring smiles to people's faces, and it's just, it's very corporate and annoying. That
Absolutely. Well, my egregious is also something corporate that drives me crazy. So going to a Leafs game is expensive, right? We all know this. This is just a widely
It is?
It's just a widely accepted thing that we all just have to deal with. And so when Joey and I get to go to our 1 to 3 games a year, it really is like a planned expense that you need to make, because not only is the ticket expensive, and luckily we live in the city, so you don't have to worry about parking. Also, don't drive to the game anyway. Come on, guys, like, smarten up. But, and then the 5 to 8, Alberta-style beers that you would have at the game are going to run you a lot of money as well. So you go, I'm going to watch it from home and I'm going to save money. Nice try, motherfucker. Sportsnet is raising the prices on Sportsnet Plus to subscribe. To subscribe to watch Leafs games in a month, it is going to cost you $54.98 between 3 streaming services to catch all the games. I know everything's more expensive. You go to the grocery store, you pay for things. I understand that. But man, they just don't make it easy for you to be a fan of this sport. I know it's not specifically the Leafs in general. This is just an NHL thing with their 3 sponsors and 3 streamers. But god damn it, $55 a month to watch these teams it's just unbelievable. So I don't know. It's not our fault that Sportsnet paid way too much money, or CBC paid way too much money for the NHL package. But now it's really being passed along to fans, and that just sucks that we're the ones that have to carry the brunt of this terrible deal. So yeah, there it is, and that is egregious. I'm just sad.
It is egregious. Especially when the product is
that's the other
crap.
thing. Like, it's not even well done, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
It really
Leaves a
does.
shitty taste in my mouth. I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
news
it's
from
coming
last
back.
night or Sportsnet. The week ahead. All right, we already talked about this. We got a back-to-back. We got Friday against the Red Wings. It's a nice little homestand here with the Boston game that just happened. You got Friday against the Red Wings, Saturday against the Canadiens, and Tuesday against the Senators. It's like 4 of like our biggest rivals. Like, it's a big 4-gamer just in terms of like pride and the way it's gonna make you feel after Tuesday. Like, how do you feel after that 4-game homestand? And we'll see.
Because we don't play well against a good number of these teams, even though they're not great. But man, coming 3-0 out of this would be just unbelievable. So,
these are 3 teams with much worse records than us that have that are not as good as we are. But yeah, like you said, like Montreal plays us incredibly well.
Yep.
Detroit plays us well. Ottawa plays us well.
I know. Ottawa, just like another, like Charlie Brown football being taken away. They're like, oh, we're going to make the playoffs. No, you're probably not. Actually, I saw a great meme online. Just a Senators fan being like, they didn't know that we had the 3rd hardest schedule up until this point in the season. And I think they have the 3rd hardest schedule because you don't get to play the Senators. But yeah. So best of luck to us on the next 3 games. I'm sure I can't wait to talk about that next week. But Joey, in the meantime, let's do the numbers game. A new version of the same game from last year where I pick a number between 1 and 99, and Joey has to name 2 Leafs who have worn that number. He can't name a player on the current roster, and I'll let you know ahead if only one player has ever worn it. That is not true this time, so you're good. For each player Joey cannot name, per number, he will donate $5 to the You Can Play Foundation, a foundation working to ensure the safety and inclusion for all that participate in sports. So far, Joey is perfect on the season, 0 donations. So sorry, You Can Play Foundation. And the numbers used are 2, 11, 22, and 21. Are you ready to go?
Cool.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to keep it nice and low. So far this season, it has been lower numbers because that is the majority of Leafs, especially in the past, that have worn them. And so we're going to keep it low again. But a fun one. I think it's a fun one because outside of, we'll talk about it. Number 18.
Oh.
So there's probably one player that's going to jump to your head a
Okay.
little bit. And then after that, it's a little bit of, I don't want to say scraps, but it's a little bit of like, name that guy.
I know I
There we
have
go.
one guy in my head. Okay, Steven
Steven-
Lawrence currently wears
Very
it,
good.
that doesn't
But
count.
bonus
He's
points.
on the
Absolutely.
roster.
Steven Lawrence currently on the roster. Not allowed to name him.
I think I've
Okay.
got two.
All right. Do you want to name?
I'm pretty
Do you want to
sure
name
I've
the
got
first
two.
one?
The
Yes.
one I know I'm right. is
Wow,
Chad Kilger.
that's the one you went with. Well, of course, Chad Kilger, lead singer of Nickelback.
Chad Kilger famously scored a Game 7 goal
Mm.
against the Senators in that, I think it was like I can't remember what the final score was, but it was
Mm-hmm.
2004. It was the year before the lockout where we beat them in the first round in Game 7, and Patrick Leem led in
yeah.
those two identical
Yeah.
Joe Nieuwendyk goals. The first goal of that game was Chad Kilger getting on the board. 1-0.
Wow.
So he's and I was at that game live, so I just kind of like I associate number 18 with Chad Kilger.
Wow.
That's
Well,
what
Joey's
my mind
correct.
goes.
Chad Kilger wore number 18 from 2004 to 2008. And did you have another player in mind?
I think I do. I think
Okay.
he wore number 18.
Alan McCauley is
McCauley?
correct. That is who I thought you were going to say first. Alan McCauley wore 18 from 1998 to 2003. There's a lot of 1 to 2 year players, especially in the post 2000s. Is there anyone else that jumps to mind, or do you want me to start naming some guys?
In the post 2000s, wearing number 18.
So there's.
Shit, this is like one of
Oh,
my favorite
really?
numbers too,
Yeah,
so
no,
I need to-
November 18th coming up here, too. Last 3 years, there has
man.
been a player on the team wearing number 18. Now,
Zach
yeah.
Hyman wore 11, and he wears 18
I
now,
believe
right, for the
so,
Oilers?
yes. He's not on this list currently, so he didn't wear it with the Leafs.
Yeah, didn't wear with the Leafs. Shit, no, I want to say it's a forward.
Last
of
year,
some
yes.
Sort.
By the way, these 3 players are not full-time players. Like, they were in and out, I'd say.
Yeah.
Let's go. Last year was
go
Noah
ahead.
Gregor, wore number 18. The year before was Jordy Ben.
Dragonator.
Andreas Johansson wore number 18
Okay.
for 2 years, or 3 years, it looks like. Richard Panik, Wayne Primo. You know, it goes on from like that level of player from here on out. So once you got Alan McCauley, I was like, I wonder which other player he's going to get. So good for you. Wow.
Chad.
Very good.
Chad Kilger. All right, keep it going. Some news around hockey. The PWHL has released their
Yeah.
jerseys.
I
your
don't
favorite?
want to be a homer, but I think it's Toronto. I love Toronto's jersey. I like that it's a little bit bright. They could have gone with the more muted, darker colors because my second favorite jersey is Montreal, and they went with more of like the reserves, darker colors, which I think also look really nice. But I think the Scepters logo looks good, and I really like the jersey. I think there's definitely like a St. Louis parallel with the blue and gold, but I really love it. Which one's your
Yeah.
favorite? Yeah,
I'm looking
I can
at
tell you
them
which my
now.
least favorite is.
My favorite's probably Minnesota, just because I think.
Oh,
you need
I
more
don't
purple.
like Minnesota's logo. I think that's my problem.
It's not the yeah.
Yeah.
It's more just the purple. I like purple. I like our jerseys. I just I have this problem. I don't like
Yeah,
blue
right. We
on
talked
blue.
about this week. Yes.
We did
Yes.
just talk about this. Like I love blue is my favorite color. I love blue, but when you do 2 shades of blue together, and you got like a navy and then a baby going on, it's gross to me. Like the Tennessee Titans, like those Blue Jays alternate jerseys
Same with the
are
Philly ones.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I would love to have seen the Toronto Scepters jersey if you like take all of that navy
Yeah.
and make it yellow, and see what that looked like, or white. I don't know. I like the logo. I like the powder blue color. I like the yellow and blue that goes together. I have a thing about blue on blue.
Double
the
blue.
double blue. The Winnipeg Jets. It's so.
I
gross.
don't like. Yeah, I don't like
It's
their
so
jersey.
gross.
The double blue of St. Michael's College, I just gotta say, is a powerful color. But the worst team though, and this poor city cannot get a fucking break. But Ottawa, just again, the name sucks, the logo's
Yeah,
not good,
these
and the
ones look
jersey's not
terrible.
good. Like 3 L's in a row. Ottawa just can't catch a break.
It just looks like
It
a
does.
T.
It's also there's such a Cleveland Cavalier about that I can't get past it. Like it just looks. It's even the colors. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. The New York ones.
You
are
don't like the
bad,
bright
too.
colors?
They look like
Yeah.
Islanders jersey. Well, it's not even the colors. Like those are fine. It's the logo is so bad.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Um,
Montreal's is great though. Montreal's is a clear.
yeah, Montreal's is great. I'm not the biggest fan of burgundy, but it's a good name. Boston green is gross. I like the Minnesota one.
Wow.
It's probably my
Okay,
favorite.
I did not see that coming. There you go. But yeah. Okay,
Need more purple.
There you go. Minnesota, like they already have the Vikings. Now they got the Frost. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make sense. We also in NHL news, Connor McDavid is back, so that was a little bit shorter than we thought. Because when it said high ankle sprain, you assume that's
quick.
that's gonna be weeks, and now he's already back. So good for him.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
They lost.
Classic Edmonton
Moving
Oilers.
on. And then we haven't talked about this yet. We talked about it not on the podcast. The Four Nations face-off with – it's so funny. Like, Canada has had – growing up, you're like, Quebec is a goalie factory. And now I have no idea who's going to start for Team Canada.
I know. We'll have to almost have a whole episode about doing like a preview and prediction and betting and all that kind of stuff. But, obviously it's content farming because you even see TSN and Sportsnet doing that thing where like, let's name the roster. And you know what? It works because I will always stick in and go like, oh, that's who you're using. Okay, that's interesting. And there's so much talent. We could feel the second team. That's what we always say. And that is still true, except for goaltender, where the first team you still go, is Stuart Skinner going to be on the team? Oh my God.
I don't know when they have to like decide these rosters, but my guess is just like who's hot at the moment, like who's playing the best at the moment. That's Canadian, because it's like Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, Stuart Skinner's an option. So you're like, okay, which of those three?
Jesus.
When February rolls around, is playing the best? I guess you go with that person. My guess is, if I had to guess right now, it's going to be Jordan Binnington.
I also lean that way too, just because there's not an obvious one, and he's won a cup, and whatever. He's kind of a gamer.
Yeah, like you put that roster in front of him. I'm
absolutely.
Sure he's gonna be great.
It's just so funny that you're right. Growing up, it was like Luongo, Brodeur, Cujo, or Patrick Waugh. You'd cycle in some guy that would be one of the best ever, and they would be the third goaltender that's not dressed. And you're like, oh man, this is just unbelievable. And now we're like, I don't even know who to start. Like this is unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. The American goalies are like
very
a scary
group.
Group.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have a roster breakdown about that, but it's something to kind of keep in the back of your head because you hear about Sweeney traveling around trying to like scout for this, and Doug Armstrong and all the these people that are helping do it. So it's coming up, and I'm sure it'll be very exciting because it's always fun to see the best on best.
Oh yeah. Best on best for the first time since 2014, and it replaces the All-Star game. So great.
Fantastic.
No one watches that anywhere. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. That's all the time we got today, but if you made it this far, we appreciate the hell out of all you good buds. Thank you so much for listening.
Go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.
When you're back down, in Mexico, I hope you feel better like you wanted to then. I know we haven't talked.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it.